Welcome back, people, to Double Bubble. In with a beer. Hopefully, you've got a beer as well and getting through lockdown as it is. I think everyone's struggling at the moment, but hopefully, we're here to cheer you up and get things rolling a bit. But yeah, this is meant to be Double Bubble, which is just two of us. Hopefully, you enjoyed the last show we did. But we're joined by a third person, which is like, third wheel. When you go on a date with someone, you don't want a third person lurking around, do you? But they're feeling a bit lonely, so they wanted to join in with the fun. So, Mikey boy, introduce yourself.
What's up, everyone? My name is Michael. Thanks again for having me, guys. It's been a boring lockdown, so I thought I'd come on with you boys. And yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, hey, Rich, was this sort of like you told your dad that you're going to do a video and Mike started getting a hissy fit and going, he won't let me play?
Not too much. Obviously, Mike's so used to seeing me do all of these shows and stuff. For everyone watching, Mike's my brother. Yeah, we stayed together in South Africa.
If you couldn't tell already.
If you can tell.
You're not dead ringers, are you?
So yeah, he was keen to jump on today, so I said, why not? Always good to have another man to chat a bit of shit with us. So yeah, all for it.
Yeah, well, I'm not against it, to be fair. I'm actually quite happy that Mike's taking part this time because both of you bailed on the last night out we had planned before Christmas, and still haven't quite forgiven you both. So let's just hope that let's just hope you just both stay for the duration of the show and don't pick out. And I've got to take over and do the rest of it. It's fine.
We are all yours, Lukey. We are all yours, boy.
For everyone watching, Mike and I came over to London in December for 3 weeks, and we were supposed to go out on the piss with Luke, but we ended up having an absolutely horrendously heavy night the night before we watched Leicester at the London Stadium. We rocked up to that Leicester game. You should have seen the state of Mike and I. So yeah, we didn't manage to get out with Luke that night, but we definitely owe him. We definitely owe him for that. So sorry, I'm still sorry, mate. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Look, I'm going to let it go. It's just something else to bring up. But it was funny because when you both walked in, you did look like absolute shit. I'll give you that. Right? But it was funny because
Richard always looks like absolute shit, to be fair. So
yeah, but this was different. This was different level shit. This was like it just called out of a bush or a hedge or something like before. Anyway, but the funny thing is, Stell, who's also part of Irons United, went to say hello to you, but you made a complete beeline for me to say hello, which I love. But it was almost like a help me cuddle. It was like I'm like struggling so badly with this hangover. And I just got you in my arms and just like, come here.
It's because I love you. It's because I love you. You're the first person I saw, mate. I'm surprised I didn't give you the biggest kiss in the pub.
I know.
But such is life.
Me.
Would have been unreal.
It was good, but as he's here, I think quite a lot of people know about you already, Richard, with your fan zone stuff and all that. But I just want to know, because I've never actually talked to you about this, Mikey. I don't think I have. If I haven't, I was drunk and I've completely forgotten about it. Don't blame me. But how did you become a West Ham fan, Mike? Did you just follow on from Rich when he restarted, or what was your start?
So basically, my dad had quite a big influence on it. I grew up in the era of Paulo Di Canio, Frank Lampard, Joe Cole, Trevor Sinclair. Those are the players that I really looked up to, and that was the team that I first knew about West Ham. So my dad was a big influence on it. He's been a big West Ham fan his whole life. So yeah, I'd say my dad has definitely been the influence behind it.
All right. And you don't regret it at all? You never had to go to your dad for saying what was you thinking?
Not at all. All the ups and downs have been absolutely priceless. It's been one hell of a journey, I must say, but it's been worth it. It's been worth it 100%.
1 year into becoming a West Ham fan, you know exactly what you've signed up for. I mean, we're not in it for the glory. Good God, we're not in it for the glory. But we've seen relegations, all of us. There's been tears in our household. You must just see us on a match day. It's an absolute shit show in this house. Everyone is just.
It just makes.
Go for it, Mike.
It just makes those good times that much sweeter because they don't come around that often. So it just makes those good times a hell of a lot better, I must say.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when you first come down and obviously we were having a few drinks and whatever. I think it was before the Leicester game, where there was one. I might be in the Bournemouth game, I might be in David Moyes' first game. I can't remember what it was now. It was definitely, I think, a night game. But before the game, we were all drinking at the supporters club, and then suddenly, I think you, Mike, instigated it. Where you both went to Richard, come on, let's go and see the players train. And I was like, oh yeah, that's good luck to you. It's going to enjoy it. And I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever known a West Ham fan to go, yeah, let's go and see the players train. As if there's some, because we obviously, half the time, we hate the players because we think they're shit and not playing for the badge and thinking, why the fuck aren't you doing more? And suddenly you two are going, let's go see them train. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, they're never hardly here, are they? So they don't get to see this very often. But with most fans, obviously in the UK all the time, or in England, they get obviously a wait the season to get older to watching it. And for you two, it was like, oh, let's go and see them very often. Thinking, I fucking couldn't stand it. I did a train, that's fine, but
For Mike,
it's fair enough.
For Mike, that was his first ever trip to the London Stadium, because obviously we've been to Upton Park together as a family. I came over to the London Stadium in 2016 for a game where I met up with Ant and a couple of the other Iron United guys. So this was Mike's first time at the London Stadium. So I think that's probably why we wanted to do like a whole walk around the stadium, get in there early, watch the lads train, and it was cool to see Declan Rice captain the boys for the first time. I think that was really special for us to come over and see that straight away. That was very, very special. I won't forget that.
I think my first and only game that I saw at Upton Park, I think, was 2011. Hey, Rich?
2009, Middlesbrough, last game of the season at Upton Park.
So that's how long it's been. I mean, from 2009 to 2019 to 2020. So obviously us being the eager West Ham supporters, let's go watch the boys warm up and let's see how they're doing. And I think we lost to Leicester 2-1. We lost to Leicester 2-1 against a second string side, so it wasn't the best match.
Yeah,
that was Pellegrini's last game. It was his final nail in the coffin. And
then he got the sack. Yeah.
So just. This isn't going to be the Mike show. Like we talk about Mike all the time, but it is nice to have a guest on the show, and plus there is nothing to talk about with football at the moment. So we've got to try and respect the barrel of questions. But no, it's good to have you on all seriousness. But just quickly, I'm going to give you three quick fire questions. First of all, what's your best game you've watched? So that could be like, obviously living in South Africa, you're going to watch probably most games. That's the weird thing. Every country apart from England seems to get every single game live, which is ridiculous. But what's the best game you've seen? Yeah, is it like a cup game or anything? The second one, who's your favourite ever West Ham player that you've watched or you've enjoyed watching against? And third of all, what's your favourite ever West Ham kit? You might have bought one or just seen one that you liked or something like that. But three questions. Go for it.
So the first question would have to be us against Bournemouth this season, where we beat them 4-0 at home.
Yeah.
That was the last game that we managed to watch live before we headed back to South Africa. So that was a plus because we'd just been beaten by Crystal Palace and Leicester. So to win 4-0 at home, I think is pretty good. Best West Ham player, I'd have to say Paulo Di Canio. He also had quite a big influence on me growing up and supporting West Ham. And he was a true hammer. He really loved the fans. He played for the team. And you don't see many players like that these days. So we'd have to go with Paulo. And the best kit, I remember it was the first kit I got was the Dr. Martens one.
Yeah.
Proper
Which
old
one?
School, a bit retro. Oh, jeez, I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying to think of the season.
The home kits, home or away, Mike?
Always have to go with the claret and blue. Always have to go with the home kits. So it must have been the 2001, 2002 Doc Marten kits. Nice retro throwback.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I just bought a retro one. I think it was the one when he scored the bicycle kick against Wimbledon.
Yeah.
That was on a deal, and I got that online about 2 weeks ago, and I think it was quite iconic because Dr. Martens was like obviously an iconic fashion thing, but it also went really well with the kit. It was a really nice sponsor to have on the kit. I really like that one. But yeah, so all right, that's. I don't think I can argue. If I pretty agree with you on most of those things actually, but I've just realised, Rich, I've known you for much longer than Mike, and I have never asked you these questions yourself. I don't know what your favourite game was. I don't know who your favourite player was. I don't know what your favourite was.
Luke loves me more. I'm more loved. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't
whatever.
tell him that, but it might be.
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, why not? Go on, shoot your shit. Go on.
Favorite game? Well, I mean, obviously, I've watched a couple of West Ham games live that we've won, but they didn't really. Obviously, they were special, but for me, games that I've watched in South Africa that have set like my emotions on fire would obviously have to be the final game at the Bowling Ground. You know, to win 3-2 like we did was just unbelievable, especially
Yeah,
coming
it's
back,
another one.
especially coming back from 2-1 down. I mean, you should have seen the emotions in the TV room. Like there was tears when we were 2-1 down, and then just sheer elation, like shirts off, running around. It was absolutely mental scenes. So yeah, I'll never forget
Hollywood,
that.
mate.
And I'll probably
Absolutely Hollywood.
I'll never forget. Obviously, the playoff final against Blackpool was awesome, but
Yeah,
for me, growing up as a youngster, because obviously I'm only 22, seeing the Preston North End playoff final where Bobby Z scored the winner.
Good old Bobby.
I'll never forget that game for as long as I live, because that was just incredible. So probably those ones. And then favorite player, obviously Di Canio. I was still quite young when Di Canio was coming through. I was probably 4 or 5, so it's difficult to really know what's cracking at that age. So definitely, if I had to choose back then, it would be someone like Di Canio. But during my lifetime, he's not the prettiest footballer. Obviously, we've seen amazing players like Dimitri Payet, for example, but someone like Mark Noble would have to be my
I knew
choice.
you were going to say that.
Because growing up, he's always been Mr. West Ham. He's always been the man I've looked up to. He's been the captain, and that loyalty that he's given to West Ham over the years. I don't think you'll ever see a player like that from now on into the future that can remain that loyal and that literally bleeds claret and blue. So Mark Noble. And then favorite kit. I've had a few interesting ones. I'd say about 20 West Ham shirts at home. But if I had to choose my favorite one, I'd have to go with our final season at the Boleyn again. I thought that was just such a classic home kit. I love the collar, the little oval neck with the light blue on the top, and yeah, I just think that's a world-class classic kit, and I think that will go down in history with West Ham for sure. And you, let answer. How about your answers?
Yeah. Comes back to bite you, doesn't it? Yeah. I think. Do you know what? I think favorite game is really hard, but there's been a few. It's almost been a few where we've actually lost or drawn, but I've just liked the fact that we've put in a good performance or been unlucky to lose or whatever. But I think
the FA Cup.
it's got to be between two. It's got to be yeah. Sorry, that was one of the games. Yeah, it's got to be between two. I think the one. This is going to be ironic because people are going to go, but that was at London Stadium though. Well, this is going to have to be because it's only the time I've been a season ticket holder. The first one out of the two would be the night we beat Tottenham, Lanzini's goal, 1-0, because the atmosphere was just. I probably went up about 3 rows from where I was sitting. I was just carried up, but it was panda. I bought a new phone charger and it was in a bag underneath the seat, and I just stamped all over it when I didn't mean to. I felt like I broke the thing. I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit if I broke it. It's worth it. And the second one, which is really ironic, I don't think anyone really might remember this game, but it was Leicester at home, and we was under David Moyes, and we was drawing 1-1 at the time, and we needed to win. That was a feeling around with the fans, and I think after about 60-70 minutes, the fans just sort of gave up trying to give the players support because there was nothing from them. And then suddenly, I think from the more lower stand, there was just a rendition of West Ham's Claret and Blue Army, and it just seemed to just spread like a Mexican wave around the ground. And suddenly you could just see all the players looking around each other going, fucking hell, the atmosphere's getting buzzing. It was just like, we are West Ham's Claret and Blue Army over and over again, got louder and louder and louder. And suddenly you just see all the players go, fuck, like, let's do something. And immediately all the Leicester players were like, what do we do? This is weird. And then the best thing was is that Andre Ayew was obviously signed for us, I think, the previous season. No fans liked him. He had a terrible game. I think the previous game against Spurs, everyone was booing him and everything like that. And suddenly the manager brought him on, and I was thinking, don't bring him on because the atmosphere is really good. All they're going to want to do is boo him. But they got right behind him, and he got a buzz off it as well. And he tried to win a penalty and everything. And it was just one of those crazy games where we didn't win. We had a few chances, but the atmosphere was insane. But I think my favourite game has to be the Tottenham game at home. Lanzini scoring the winner. Yeah, that's that one done.
Yeah.
Favourite player would have to be Di Canio. I don't think anyone within 4 years possessed anything more than the fans ever asked. Passion, hard work, technical ability, all of it. Scored amazing goals. Just a character as well. My favourite, I didn't actually ask a question, but my favourite goal was probably Dean Ashton's way to Man United. But I won't go into that. I've said that in other videos as well. My favourite kit is possibly, I think it was the Adidas one that was just before the season we left the bowl in. So it was like the pinstripe Adidas. It was like the first retro sort of Avco sort of redesign. It was under Allardyce 14-15 season.
It was it the one before the collar? Was it before the after the collar?
No, I think it was after the collar because we had Sacco and Valencia playing for us when we first started the season. Was doing really well. Yeah, you bastard. Been looking for that one for ages. I didn't buy it at the time, but yeah, that probably has to be my favourite kit. But yeah, so that's all that's free.
It's a decent kit, and we had a good season. Weren't we? We were like in the top 4, and then we kind of just dropped really a bit towards the end.
It was a combination. I think of Alex Song's form completely nosedived. Sacco had a thing going on with Senegal when he mysteriously had a back injury because Allardyce kept using him as a target man, and he was like, "I'm not a fucking target man. I can't keep competing with big defenders because they're just bearing down on my back. I'm getting like knees in the back and stuff like that." And then he had to, as soon as he got the opportunity, get Carroll back in the team and Nolan, whose legs were going as well, and we just couldn't. He had Stuart down in as an attacking midfielder. He was doing bits, and then suddenly just went, "No, you're back in the right wing." Never had the same effect again. And we just had that form that just sort of went up there and down there after a few months. It was gutting. We could have done loads that season. We could have achieved a lot, but it just, in typical West Ham fashion, it went sour. You know.
Do you remember? I'll never forget. I'm sure you will never forget this as well. But how mad was Enner Valencia's goal in that season away at Hull? That absolute rocket. I don't know where that came from.
It's a forgotten goal. I remember that you ask many West Ham fans, they probably won't even remember it. I was sitting in front of my TV watching it, and it came out of nowhere. Absolutely, there was no like, oh, we might shoot it or anything. It just came out of nowhere, thunderbolt. And I didn't even have time to celebrate. I just sort of screamed, going, "Ah!" I didn't have to. Rob sort of looked at me going,
"What just happened?
Like, what just happened? And what was that to come out of you?" And I was like, I don't know. It's just, I'm just shocked by that. And it was just about 5 minutes, just jaw dropped, like going, "I can't believe what I've just seen." He was a bit of an underrated player, Valencia. I think he was too lightweight for the league in the end. But I always remember him scoring that free kick against Bournemouth away after Pyatt had scored that brilliant one. And it was like everyone went, "Why does Valencia not do this more?" Because that was like that was like a proper Ronaldo dip.
Bender. Yeah.
On his day, Valencia did some decent things. I'll give him credit. I mean, I remember there was a game at home against Man City. I think he might have scored twice.
Just think about that one.
And he terrorized Man City that day. And obviously he was a lightweight type player, but on his day he could definitely hold his own in the league. I mean, there was one game, I think it was Burnley away. I think Jenkinson put in a cross and Valencia just bullet header into the top corner. So he was that type of player. On his day he could be great, but he could also go missing for a couple of games, which was frustrating.
I think he was sort of a confidence player. And I think what happens a lot of times, especially at West Ham, is we don't support the players enough when they're playing. And he seemed to do really well in the partnership with Sacco. And then once Sacco was taken out and he was left on his own, he couldn't really handle the pressure on him, which is fair enough. Some players, they get asked to play a certain role and they can't do that really. It's unfortunate. Just before I forget, guys, I was going to ask you this. I don't normally give a lot of substance to rumours, especially now because the press have got to come out with whatever they can because they've got nothing to write about apart from players not wanting to, risk their own lives playing football. But the Mike Ashley rumour, I've got to get your thoughts on this. Because this, I tell you why it's ironic. Everyone's going GSB out, including myself. There's protests and everything. We just want them out, and we get linked with this fucker. And I don't care what anyone says. It actually could be worse than having Golden, Sullivan, and Brady at the helm. That's the only. That's the worst thing about it. He is literally. They've killed West Ham in a way by moving the stadiums, but he killed Newcastle while they're still in the same stadium. And I know a lot of people are against Saudi Arabia money and whatever, but they needed something, and hopefully this will be a kickstart. But could you imagine a West Ham under Ashley? We'd have sports directors as our sponsor and stuff like that. What a nightmare that would be.
I think that would be an absolute shit show, to put it lightly, because you look at our owners. There's a lot of problems with them, as everyone knows. But someone like Mike Ashley would literally be on their level, if not worse, in terms of being so out of touch with the fan base. Just so money driven, but a real lack of a football brain when it comes to how to run a football club. Mike and I have just finished watching a Netflix show on Sunderland and how poor their ownership was and how they literally ran that club into the ground. And Mike Ashley's a similar type of character. He's just so out of touch with what it means to run a football club. Same as David Gold, Sullivan, and Brady. They are just the complete wrong people to have in charge of a football club. And Mike Ashley literally took Newcastle, who are absolutely massive club. That whole city bleeds football, and he made that whole fan base just turn on him completely and hate him. So I think it would be a step backwards. Mike, what are your thoughts?
What's so upsetting to me is that whatever decision does get made, the fans don't have a say in who takes over the club, which is so unfortunate. But it is the fact that we have to deal with. He's just caused so many problems for Newcastle, and we have quite a few Newcastle fans, and they just hate him. They say he is literally. They just want him gone, and obviously, yeah. So if we had to take him on, it's a lose-lose really, because either we stick with what we've got or we get another person in who's just their shit. So I don't know. It's a tough one, and it's not a good situation to be in, to be fair.
The only thing about him is he seems to be a bit more blunt than to the point. And with our three, they are just bullshitters.com, where they love to stand their own. They love standing their own voice. They'll say anything to get the supporters in. But he's just like, yeah, I can't deal with it. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And I remember. I think it was after one of the seasons. I think Rafa Benitez might have just taken over or something like that. I can't remember. But he was asked in an interview by Sky Sports after one of the last games of the season, and he said, "Do you think you'd ever sell Newcastle?" And he said, "I'm not going to sell this club until we win a trophy." And he said, I do count top four as a trophy." And then it was part of me that thought, well, surely you'd invest in, because the team you've got right now has got no chance of doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the only type of thing he's kind of bullshitted out, which is going, "I'll leave if we get a trophy." You're thinking, well, start investing then, because you've got all this money, but you're not putting in the team. But he's to be fair, out of the two, and I'm not saying he's any better, for God's sake. I'm just saying that if you're going to be a cunt, like, just be honest about it. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think to a point is, look, I'm not a Newcastle fan. Maybe they've seen things where I'm me saying that opinion is completely wrong. But the only one that could be a good takeover, but bad for the identity of the club, is Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's for me personally. I think I've talked about my brother before. I don't think I could support West Ham anymore if they took the colours away. And I know people say, "Oh, it's just the colours. West Ham is more of a club," but you can take the stadium away. You can take the stadium away and put a new one and put a few colours in it. It just stands. It's just okay. You try to do your best to make it look at least West Ham-ish. It's a crap ground for football and stuff like that, but at least it looks more West Ham than it would have done at the start. But we've still got the crest. Yes, okay, they're taking the castle away, but for me, the castle wouldn't make sense anyway, because we're not at the bowling ground, which is where the whole history was. But whether you disagree or not is different. But if Red Bull took over and changed all the identity, it just wouldn't be West Ham anymore. It would be just another part of I think that's probably with some supporters that we're still dragging behind this. Oh, it's still a club, but really it is business at the end of the day, which I think is a lot of the time, which is right now with players being told to come back to training for the new season to start. I'll start with you, Mike. Do you think it's a good idea to start the season, or do you think it should be a complete void it, null it, or at least postpone it and not let players come back to training? What do you think about that?
Well, I think if the season doesn't start within the next month or so, I can't see how they can finish off this season and continue with the following season. There's no time, which means that the layover from this season to next season will be so short that the players won't get a rest anyway. So if the season doesn't start within the next month and a proper decision and a finalized decision is made within a month, I think that they should honestly just scrap this season. I'm not sure how they would go about the relegation and the promotion, obviously, from the lower leagues. But yeah, if it doesn't kick off in the next month, I don't see how it's possible to complete the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Troy Deeney's come out yesterday or the day before and said that, he can't go and get a haircut, but he can go and jump in the box with 19 other players who are all sweaty and head for a ball, which doesn't no NHS nurses can get tested, but football can get tested. The money runs the world, and it does show. But, Rich, do you think that players have every right? Obviously they do, but do you think that players have a right to go, no, we're not coming back? Or do you think they should just go, no, we're playing, it's work like everyone else who's told to, they've got to go back to work? Or do you think they've got a right to say, no, we're not gonna stay, we're not gonna come back?
Look, I think it depends on the type of player. Obviously, I can understand Deeney's case, and I sympathise with him because he does have a very young child at home that he worries about in terms of health. Because if he was to get something and give it to his son, there's every chance that the son's health could be compromised, and there could be a whole lot of horrible situations that could happen. But in every other situation, I think the clubs have been screened quite well in terms of testing players, making sure they abide by certain guidelines. So we've seen how it's worked fine in the Bundesliga. I think it's all right to start getting back into training now, like they have been doing. Just obviously maintain distancing if you can, and make sure you get tested, and don't do stupid things. Don't breach lockdown rules. Simple things like that. But I think honestly, the season will finish. There's way too much riding on this season in terms of the financial implications for clubs and the Premier League itself, the commercial side. So they'll definitely get it done one way or the other. I think it will be behind closed doors for as long as possible until it's completely safe to get fans in. But I think they'll follow what the Bundesliga is doing, and they'll get it done. But on the other hand, I completely understand where Deeney's coming from, because at the end of the day, there's people's lives at risk. And you have to look and say, is football worth more than people dying? You have to weigh it up. At the end of the day, people are dying. So you got to take both sides of the coin.
Because another thing, because I heard Danny Rose saying that 3 weeks won't be enough time for them to get fit and etc. I mean, they've had time off. They should still be fit. I mean, 3 weeks should be more than enough to get football fit. Because I mean, they've still been doing exercise. They've still been doing training. It's just the football aspect that they're missing. And within 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure that you can get your form back. So I don't see where he's coming from in that respect.
Do you know what? Go, Rich. Go.
No, I agree with you, Mike, because as a footballer, every single day you're in the gym, you're staying fit. So surely their schedules shouldn't have changed too much. Okay, cool. You're not getting clattered during training by a Mark Noble 2-footed challenge.
Exactly. But you've had time to recover.
Yeah, you're still doing the same stuff you would be doing in the gym. You're still running. As far as I know, in the UK, you're allowed to run. Obviously, South Africa is a different story, but you're allowed to do your fitness and stuff. So there's no excuse for that. Of course, the actual physical game side of it, they're not going to be as sharp. But I mean, that should come. At the end of the day,
but it's the same for, and also it's the same for all players. I mean, it's not like certain players will have an advantage over another. All players will be in the same boat. And I honestly think 3 weeks is ample time for players to get football fit, especially since they have been training indoors and obviously going for runs, etc.
What are your thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, it's. I'll just quickly. We haven't got long left on this, but I'll just make it put quickly. Me and my brother talked about this the other night, and I possibly think it's the last we could see the likes of Ronaldo and Messi, especially Ronaldo, because I see what you're saying. I totally 100% agree with you, but I don't think anything can match sharpness / match fitness. And I think it's okay being in the gym and recovering and preparing yourself, but when you're out on that pitch, it's a completely different story. You've got that competitive aspect as well, where you haven't been training for tackling and going against someone for 3 weeks. You've been just training on your own, or you've been training beside a teammate or something like that. And plus, they're doing a social distancing training now, which means you can't come in contact with another player. Your fitness might be top notch, but you're thing. And if you remember, I think it was last season, you had Chelsea and Arsenal in the Europa League final. 3 weeks after the season had finished, and a lot of their play looked like they just started pre-season. The football was well under par to what we saw 3 weeks prior. And I think if it comes back, I mean, Danny Rose has got a point. You know, he's obviously, you know, what he's saying is right, but I think there has to take into consideration that, you know, I don't agree that he can't play, because any player can play. You're paid to play, get on the pitch and play. But the football isn't going to be that good, because I can't see the match sharpness being that the thing. You know, it's good for me. It's going to have a major effect. Yeah, we haven't got long left, so it's been a good chat, boys. But before we go, these boys haven't had a beer since lockdown started, because South African lockdown is a lot tougher than English lockdown. We've had the most half-hearted lockdown overnight, but these boys can't even go out to get a drink. So if someone can sort out a GoFundMe page so they can get some funds, and then someone sort of cross-world Deliveroo, they can just drop them off. So just a few cans,
private delivery.
Yeah, just something, because you know, if you told English people you can't go and get a beer, not going to the pub's bad enough, but you can't even go out to buy a beer. It's almost
it's evil.
It's but it's beyond that. But yeah, we're back to finish now, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Please get your comments in. Subscribe to Irons United. I think Rich, you're also going to put this on your own personal channel as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll probably add it to my channel as well. Just Rich Faasen.
You will definitely. You will. You will.
Of course.
Got to get this shit up and running. Mikey, it's been good to have you, mate. Thanks for joining on.
Luke, thanks so much for having me, boys.
We can't have you on every week because it's double bubble. We've got to change the fucking title of the show if you would. But you know, we'll have you on it. We'll have you on every now and then. Yeah, triple bubble, something like that.
Thanks, lads.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, stay safe out there, people, and come
stay safe, boys.
Yeah, stay safe. Yeah, come on your irons.
Sweet.